This is the plaintiff, Michelle Britton. She says she purchased a car from the defendants, and they took terrible advantage of her. The car shakes violently when she drives it. There's a loud bang when she steps on the brakes, and she can't drive it safely, so it's sitting in a parking lot. She's suing for the return of the $3,000 she's owed, and she wants it now. These are the defendants, Scott and Patricia. Scott says the plaintiff had the car they sold her for almost 3 months, put 1,000 miles on it, and now expects them to give her back her money? They don't owe her any money. They know it. The judge knows it, and soon she will know it too. They're accused of unloading a lemon. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $480 for lost wages.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendants took advantage of her in buying a car. It is falling apart. But the defendants say the plaintiff drove the car for 3 months. So she's got to be kidding. It's the case of you're driving me crazy.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Michelle Britton?
Yes.
You are suing your co-worker, Scott. And do you also work with her?
No.
Okay, you're the wife? Mm-hmm. Patricia, you've asked us not to refer to your last names. For $3,000, the price that you paid for a vehicle that, according to you, is a lemon. You are counterclaiming $480 for having to show up to respond to her lawsuit today and losing work. Okay. So, how do you two know each other?
We are co-workers.
Okay, and your co-workers, don't name the school, but your co-workers at a high school?
Yes.
All right, how long have you been co-workers at that high school?
5 years.
Okay, and what do you do?
I work in the cafeteria.
And what does he do?
He's the mechanic at the school.
He's a mechanic?
Yes.
So you're a mechanic teacher, or you're a mechanic for the school?
Auto mechanics teacher, yes.
Okay, so, ironic. Okay, so what happens?
Okay, I purchased the car from him on 5/20.
Mm-hmm. What kind of car was this?
It's a Jeep Cherokee,
What year?
2000.
Okay. Why would you sell it to somebody who you work with? Did you tell him that? Did you tell him don't sell it to somebody you work with?
No,
Okay.
not at first, no.
All right. Oh, afterwards? You have hindsight that's 20/20 also? Okay. All right. I would never sell a used car to anybody that I know at all, because whatever goes wrong in the next few weeks, they're going to think I knew about it. Mm-hmm. I can't control that, you know? Did you have the car inspected before you bought it?
I test drive the car. It was
No, that's not what I mean. Did you have a mechanic look at it?
Your Honor, he was the mechanic.
I know, he's the guy selling it. He's the guy trying to get rid of it. Did you have your own mechanic look at it?
After.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has it after. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I purchased the car on the 5th. I test drove it the same day, May 20th. It was working fine. The following day, I came out to go to work, turned the car on, put it into drive. I heard a loud kick. I'm like, something is wrong with the car. So I brought it back to the defendant. He said, I'll check it out for you. Give me a few minutes. And I was like, what are you going to do? I think I need my money back.
Wait, but what were you showing him was wrong with the car?
Yes, I did show him what was wrong with the car.
What was wrong with the car?
The car, when you put it into drive, it gives a loud kick.
Okay.
And apparently the transmission was going in the car.
Okay,
So-
and did that happen when you were driving it?
No.
When you test drove it, I meant.
But no, I didn't hear it when I test drove the car.
Okay.
I
And
didn't hear
so he told you there's nothing wrong with the car?
Yes, Your
That's
Honor.
just the way it sounds?
Yes.
He said there's nothing wrong with the car.
Nothing wrong with the car. He went into the car, put his foot on brakes, changed the car into drive. He didn't hear the kick. Why he didn't hear the kick?
Did you hear the kick?
No, I didn't hear it when he did it.
Okay.
Why? Because he put his foot down too hard on brakes.
Okay.
You know, like you slam on brakes. That's what he did.
All right, so then you told him don't put your foot so hard?
Don't put your foot down on the brakes like that.
Okay, what was wrong with the car? Did you ever take the car to another mechanic?
After.
And what did the mechanic say needed doing in
The
order
mechanic
to...
said the transmission case was gone. The whole front end of the car was coming out, and you need to return the car.
Let me see what the... Do you have something in writing from the...
Mechanic?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Okay, and the recommendations were to replace the transfer case, replace the front stabilizer and rear shock absorbers, front end falling out. I don't even know what that means. What's that mean, front end falling out?
Could be a number of things. Could be, there's a lot of parts in the front end. I don't know. I've never seen a bill or anything. This is the first time I've heard her give an invoice or anything. She never produced an invoice for me or a bill.
Well, the only bill she has is 3 days after the purchase for the estimate. Somebody charged her $90 to check it out. And then she has a little piece of paper where there's writing on it. I mean, this isn't. You know.
That's the only thing that I saw.
This is a notepad. Like anybody who worked there could take a piece of paper from the notepad. I'm like, this is not going to be an estimate. That I need something. What I want to see is something that connects the noise you're making and what it's going to take away the noise you're making and what it's going to cost. In other words, if this estimate was, $400, your lawsuit should be about $400, not about $3,000.
So she buys the car, does not take it to a mechanic. It's used, and now she's complaining. She had a luck.
Yeah, she didn't do her due diligence.
Does she have to take it to a mechanic? And if she does, could she get her money back then if she accepted the car?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay. What do you say?
I think she should have had it checked before she bought it, so it's her fault.
Her fault? Anybody think she should get her money back? Good, because you'd be wrong going inside the courtroom.
When you talk to her and she says, I want my money back, what do you say?
I had told her, let me find out what's wrong with the car. I said, let's take a drive with it. Let me put it up on the lift after work, because I am a school teacher. I can't do this during the day. Okay, and she does leave earlier than I do, so she would have to stay late. I was willing to stay late. I did do that one day for her. I did put it up on the lift when she gave me that piece of paper. I checked the front end. I didn't see anything loose or falling out. Okay.
Well, what was making the noise? Did she replicate the noise for you?
No, I had asked her to go on a road test with me, which she had never done. So I went up with her once before, okay, for the clunk, which we didn't hear. I asked her to go with me again. She said she couldn't, and she said she wanted her money back and for me to take the car back. And that was the last time I spoke to her.
So according to you, you never heard the sounds
I
she
never
saw?
heard the sound. I know there is a little bit of play in there. Again,
What does play mean?
Play, a little bit of slack. When you change from reverse to drive, it's got 200,000 miles. It's normal wear and tear for a vehicle with 200,000 miles. I'm a certified ASE mechanic. I can give you my certification.
No, because I
You'd like
mean,
to
that
see it?
just, like, I want, that would make me think, well, why didn't he just fix it? He works with her. How does one fix that?
It could be a major repair. It depends on what it is. But again, if it's
I mean,
if
that's
it's
kind of
something
her
that,
premise, is that you know her, you sold her a car
Right, but-
that could have a major repair depending on what it is,
but
and you're
there's
a guy
no-
who would know
there's
that because
nothing
you're a
that
mechanic.
failed. There's nothing that failed. It's just
Where's the
normal
car
wear.
now?
It's in the parking lot of the job.
At school? Since
Abandoned.
when?
I had to park it over a month ago.
Really? And the school isn't giving you grief?
No, I spoke to the person that's in charge, and they told me it's okay until my court case
Okay.
comes to a close.
All right. Is she driving it?
No, not right now. She was driving it up until I don't know when she stopped driving it.
All right. Reference your counterclaim against her. You're suing her for $480 because what?
Well, it's basically a day's pay for me and my wife as well, and the ferry ride over here from New York.
Tough. Like, why would that entitle? I mean, like, she feels like you're a mechanic and you knew something was wrong with it and you sold it to her knowing that there's something wrong with it.
But there was nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I sold the car in good faith, to her for a reasonable price.
Did you know this stuff?
No,
Hold on. Take that, Tom.
I've never seen that bill before.
I know, but you're seeing it now. And tell me, do you agree that those things might be necessary on a car with 200,000 miles, or are you saying?
I could see maybe the stabilizer bushings, the rear shock absorbers. I just had put rear shocks in before I gave it to Michelle. I have pictures of them. I
Okay.
put new front and rear shocks in there.
And what is this guy saying? There's no rear shocks.
He's saying needs rear shock absorbers. They're
Oh,
brand
you think
new.
he's just trying to sell her stuff?
It could be. I mean, the car business, you're there to make money. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I find with anybody who's selling something. But
I have a bill that says she bought the car as is with her name
yeah,
on
that's
it.
a problem. Is that you have to understand. First of all, do you watch the People's Court?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, if you do, how many as-is car sales have you seen?
A few.
Okay, so what when you buy a car with 200,000 miles on it that's 15 years old, what are you supposed to do
Take it to my mechanic.
beforehand? Have your mechanic take a look at it. Nobody does that because you don't want to spend the $100 on the mechanic. But when you don't, there's things you're not going to learn. And here's the thing. It's a 200,000 mile car. There are going to be some issues. And I'm kind of having difficulty with the idea that you buy a car as is and now you want all your money back because it turns out there's going to be some issues.
Can I speak, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, the reason why I sign as is, and the defendant knows, because he told me if anything go wrong with the car, he will fix it, but I bought it back the following day to him.
No, wait a minute. Do you understand what the word as is means?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it means I do not by law have to fix it.
I understand that, Your Honor, but
now,
that's my coworker.
So he may say to you, I'm happy to fix it if there's something wrong with it because I'm your coworker, but he doesn't have to fix it. And I know that you're going to see these folks 3 days after the sale, so I know you're already demanding your money back. So I know that not 72 hours afterwards you wanted your money back, so what he's saying about you not wanting to continue to work to try to fix it sounds true. I mean, did he say to you, let's have another test drive, let's look at this, let's look at that, or
He tried to fix it, Your Honor, but he couldn't do anything to it because at the same time, when I drove the car home, I told him, I said, the slightest bump I go in, the car is just vibrating.
Okay, but I don't understand. When you test drove it, when did this start happening?
You didn't have that problem. The following day I
Well, then
went
if it
home.
didn't have a problem, how can you prove that he knew there was a problem beforehand?
Your
If you
Honor,
test drive it and it's not making a noise when it gets out of drive, and you test drive it and it's not shaking every time you hit a bump, then how is he some mastermind who tried to sell you something that he should have known had those things? If you test drove it and it was fine, then when you got the car, it was fine. Look, I feel bad for you. And I understand that you put a lot of faith in him because you'd worked with him for 5 years and because he's the mechanics teacher. And if I were in your shoes, having made the mistake of selling a car to a coworker, I'd still take a look at it for her and see if there's anything that you can do besides say there's nothing wrong with it. Right? Because you're not a bad mechanic, are you? Okay, so
I'm the teacher.
Okay, well, but don't teach if you can't do, right? So, if I were you, I would extend that offer to her for the peace at school, right? That's what I would do. But in terms of the law, he has zero obligation to you, and therefore, although their counterclaim is dismissed, my verdict is for the defendant.
Oh boy, another as-is plaintiff comes out into the hallway on the losing end. When will this stop?
I don't know. I'll learn my lesson, though. I could tell you that. Learn my lesson.
You told the judge you've seen this same case on the People's Court several times. How did you get stuck in this situation?
It's my coworker. I didn't expect my coworker would do something like that to me. I know. I learned. I learned from my lesson.
All right, what have you learned here?
Not to sign anything as is.
A mechanic first?
From a mechanic, from a coworker, anyone.
What's it like at work now?
I don't speak to him.
Right this one. All right, so the judge recommends that, or at least suggests to you that maybe you should try to step in and do what you can at this point. What do you plan to do?
I mean, I'd like to talk to Michelle again. I don't have any, bad feelings, with her.
Why should you? I mean, she's the one who's stuck.
I mean, I actually missed talking to her, but I think that, the judge was correct in saying, what she said, the verdict. I think that, it is a matter of obligation when you buy something as is, and, if the problem is not occurring at the time the person purchased the car, or even a little bit after that, if the problem is not happening, I can't duplicate it. There's nothing I can actually try to repair or even offer to repair.
All right, Harvey, take it.
Okay, if you are planning on buying a used car, you have to take it to a mechanic. And if you say, oh, it costs money, fine. If it costs money, you will pay a lot more if you buy it and it falls apart. Make a deal where maybe you split the cost of taking it to a mechanic in the event you buy the car. Split it with the seller. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.